I'm going to try to make this video short, but I want to address my sisters, the daughters of Zion. Now, please understand that what I'm saying, I am coming from a place of love, not only for you, but for us as a people collectively. Because I've experienced, I would say, the dysfunction, and I'm seeing it and I'm hearing it as I tune into different podcasts and hear like the advice coming from different coaches, and it's very heartbreaking, very heartbreaking. And if it's heartbreaking for me, I can only imagine how the Most High feels, the one who created us all, you see, who created us out of love. And we can't seem to get it right when it comes to loving each other. Of course, the reason being is because we've all collectively, the brothers of Zion, as well as the sisters of Zion, we left our first love, which is the Most High. He is our foundation, you see. Now, I'm not an expert by no means. I don't have degrees on my wall to prove anything. I have life experiences. That's all I have to offer. I'm sorry. Not sorry. But we as women, and I know that, the brothers, they have their own issues that they have to deal with, their own problems that they need to fix within themselves in order for us to be able to come together and bridge this gap, this great divide that's between us. But I'm not a man, so that is not my place to really address the men. I feel that there are a few brothers that's doing a good job, and just hear the backlash coming from the men who are being confronted about their behavior and their abandonment of their responsibility as men. Is like, whoa, there's a lot of work to be done. But we as women, we have a lot of work to do also. And I was wondering if this could actually be done without the presence of a man. And I feel that it is. It's just going to require a lot more work on our parts. Now, this is for those of us who are desiring a relationship, who desire to be connected with the opposite sex with the intent of marriage, might I add. Okay? That should be your main purpose, your main focus. Now, of course, I'm aware that everybody is not equipped for marriage. Everybody's not marriage material, both male and female. I'm aware of this. But I'm speaking to those of us who are. I am an advocate of it. That is how the Most High designed, the connection between man and woman is for the sake of marriage. It's not to be shacking up, not to be fornicating, so on and so forth. Although I've done it all, okay? But I chose to live right by the Most High, you see. But we as women, we have a lot of influence, as I've stated in the previous video. We have a lot of power. And unfortunately, there are those of us who know of this and they use it to their advantage, to the disadvantage of our men. And in turn, these seeds are being planted, and the men are now thinking that all women are like this. And what I'm speaking of, you have women out here who are, you know, serial dating for the purpose of a free meal, you know, for the purpose of getting their hair done, or getting their bills paid. I've been on a dating app before. I've talked to some guys, and the stories that I heard just blew my mind. Like, are you serious? Women are actually out here doing this. I remember one guy told me that a girl told him that in order for her to go out on a date with him, he had to pay to get her hair done. And he asked her, "Well, how much is to get it done?" And she was like $500. I'm like, that is ridiculous. That's a user. That's a user. So for those of us who does not fall in that caliber or along those lines, it's like we have to work extra hard in order to prove that this is not who we are. Though there are women like this, but this is not who we are. So I say to you, and this is the advice that women are giving out, like, you know, you want to chase the bag, basically, get the man for what you can get out of him. And that is so toxic. It's disgusting. It's very disrespectful. Okay. But what I would say is, and instead of you looking at a man for what it is that he could do for you, instead of looking at him as how much is it that he makes, instead of judging a man by the kind of car he drives or the type of job he works, try looking at it as him just being a man and trying to find out what his goals, what his dreams are, what are his aspirations. How can you, as a woman, help this man to, I won't say how you can help this man build, okay, whatever his goal is. You see what I'm saying? We as women, we were created to be helpmeets. We were created for the man, not the man for the woman. And see, and I think that's kind of like where a lot of this dysfunction has come in at through this whole feminist movement. But I'm not gonna get off into that part. Now, this is not to say that we as women, we have to take a back seat. No, that's not what that means. But by us having a lot of power, a lot of influence, I feel that if we were to approach the situation or approach the connecting with our men differently, we will have a different outcome. We as women have to learn how to tap back into our femininity. And I know that for those of us who are doing it all, being the mom, for those with kids, and even those who don't have kids, you're working, full time, you're going to school, you got a home, you're trying to pay the bills, things get broken, you're trying to do whatever it is you got to do to make sure things get fixed, car issues, things, so on and so forth. It's like we as women nowadays, we have a lot of responsibility, and it can become very frustrating, you see. And in order to get things done, we have to tap into our masculine side. Unfortunately, there are a lot of women who tap in and stay in, you know, um, because they have to make sure that things are maintained around the house. And if you got kids, that's extra. You have to be the mom, the dad, the nurse, the counselor, the doctor. You got to be all of that. And that is a lot. We as women, we were not built to take on that much pressure. We were not built that way. So somehow, some way, we have to learn how to tap into that feminine aspect of us. We have to learn how to turn it on and turn it off. With the masculine part anyway. And how do we do that? We have to work on controlling our temper, controlling our attitude, controlling our response. You see, because a lot of times when we talk to our men, because we are in our masculinity, things that we say tend to come out a little bit more aggressive than is desired. And men, when when they're met with masculinity coming from a woman, it can take shape in different ways. So we have to learn how to tap back into that. Um, take yourself on dates. Do little things for yourself. Now, when it comes to the bills, this is something that I've learned to do. I've learned how not to allow the pressure of bills to weigh me down. And how I learned how to do that was by, and this is going to be the foundation of you getting into your femininity as well. I've learned how to give it over to God. I've learned how to trust God in the midst of, my lack. You see what I'm saying? I have a story to tell, but I'm not going to tell it now. But I've had a very low point, whereas I didn't know how I was going to make it through. I had absolutely positively no way of knowing how I was going to make it through, even within me trying to, tap into that masculinity, that logic, trying to figure, okay, well, if I did this, well, how much would this, come out to be? Would it be enough to cover? It didn't matter how I sliced it. It's like I was going to lose something, you see, in order to try to make things work. And even in doing it, what I came up with, it still wasn't enough. Trying to work two jobs, I was going to lose sleep, and losing sleep and working two jobs, that still wasn't going to be enough to cover what I needed to cover. So I had to break down and say, Lord, I can't do this. I cannot do this. I'm going to have to trust you in the midst of all of this. So because I came to a place of learning how to trust God and to give it over to God, some of that pressure, well, a lot of that pressure actually was released. You see, and because that pressure was released, I was able to take that energy that I would have given in focusing on how I was going to pay this bill, how was I going to come up with the money to get this fixed, didn't have a car, how I was going to come to get back and forth to work. God made a way out of all of it, all of it. Car issue, he blessed me through someone else to be able to get back and forth to work. You see, money money started coming in just in time. You see what I'm saying? Um, I'm trying not to get off into the story because I'm going to say that for another video. But basically, God took a lot of that pressure off of me. Whereas now I can breathe. I had room to breathe and focus on, you know, those things of like, okay, getting the house in order or spending time with my kids. I had energy to spend time with my kids and just feel more feminine. You see what I'm saying? Now I'm not going to say that I have arrived completely. There's still a little bit more work to go, but I'm definitely not where I was. You see what I'm saying? So far as reigning in my masculinity. Um, and then also you want to be mindful of the type of company that you keep. Because if you're what the saying goes, and it's in the Bible, I can't quote it word from word, but bad company spoil good manners. If you are hanging around with women who bash men, if you're hanging around with women who use men, if you're hanging around women who live in their masculinity, you're going to become that which you associate with. You see, so you're going to need to change your friend group to women who are more feminine. You see what I'm saying? But even that is kind of hard to do because that's another video. That's another video as well. We as women, not only are we disconnected with our men, we are disconnected with one another as women. And that is sad also. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of backbiting. There's a lot of covetousness that's amongst us as women that should not be. So we need to work on that. But we have our part to play, and instead of worrying about what the man isn't or is not doing or isn't or is doing, we need to put that focus on us and try to figure out what can we do as women to turn things around for the better. Okay. Now, one thing I would say that we need to do as women so that we can really focus on the prize or the end goal is take sex off the table. Take it off the table. Because sex for us as women, it clouds our judgment. Because when we have sex, we bond with men. Men, on the other hand, they can have sex with multiple women and it don't affect them in any kind of way. So once you take sex off the table, then it's like you can focus more on, okay, let me try to get to know this man as to, or let me try to know this man for who he truly is. Okay. Not for how much he make, what it is that he can do for me, what type of car he drives, what type of job he has, what type of house he's living in. All of that stuff is superficial. It's superficial. And because if you're focusing on that, you're missing the goal here. You see, how can this man is this man capable of loving? Is this man capable of leading? You see, is this man capable of being supportive? And if you guys don't have children, is this man capable of well, I guess you could say being leave that put that in the leading department, Is this man family oriented? So when you take sex off the table and you're not looking at the superficial things, you can focus on that which is more important, you see. And you can say, well, okay, you have that conversation. What are your goals? What are your dreams? And once that is being discussed, then you think to yourself, okay, how can me as a woman help this man to achieve or operate or, whatever how to bring his goals and dreams into fruition. And if he's already working on it, how can you, insert yourself in this his goals and dreams to help make it more successful? Because you are the helpmeet, if that makes sense. All right, so I'm going to end this video because I feel like I'm rambling now because it's getting late and I need to be up in the early in the morning, so I need to get some sleep. So I just kind of wanted to share that with you, sisters, and hopes that it helps someone, it touches someone. And in the meantime, guys, peace, love, and blessings. Mwah.